Jeff Hawkins, AThousandBrains, A New Theory of Intelligence. Prepare to embark on a journey into the core of human cognition with Jeff Hawkins, AThousandBrains, A New Theory of Intelligence. Within this thought-provoking book, Hawkins explores the mysteries of the neocortex and our brain's miraculous ability to predict and adapt. By delving into the structure and function of cortical columns, Hawkins unveils a radical perspective: the brain as a network of thousands of mini-brains, each with its unique role in understanding the world. Expect to unravel how these columns contribute to perception, learning, and sophisticated tasks such as language and abstract thought. This summary will guide you through Hawkins' revolutionary insights, shedding light on the brain's complex yet remarkably efficient mechanisms that enable us to navigate and mold our environment. Be ready to see the brain not as a collection of specialized modules, but as a universal prediction engine, capable of mastering a wide array of functions.
Wonders of the neocortex. Imagine the brain as a pot of cooked spaghetti, but with each strand cut into tiny pieces, standing upright like small Roman columns. Envision assembling 150,000 of these tiny columns into a sheet the size of a dinner cloth. This represents the neocortex, the powerhouse of human cognition. This wrinkly mass of brain tissue, occupying 70% of your skull space, houses everything you've ever experienced, thought, or imagined. Named for its relatively recent evolution, the neocortex envelopes older brain areas, such as the limbic system, our reptile brain. Within this crinkled sheet lie cortical columns, intricate networks where neurons connect, forming the building blocks of perception, language, art, science, and self-reflection. Although invisible to the naked eye, these columns are crucial for all brain functions. Here's the intriguing part: despite managing such a vast array of tasks, the structure of the neocortex remains remarkably consistent everywhere in the brain. Even more fascinating is its similarity to the neocortex found in other mammals, creatures that don't have the same linguistic or analytical capabilities as humans. This raises an essential question: how can this singular type of brain tissue, these replicated cortical columns, orchestrate such diverse human abilities? The exploration of this mystery reveals insights into the fundamental aspects of human evolution and cognitive capability, challenging us to understand how this uniform structure can execute such extraordinary functions. Prediction powerhouse. Imagine your brain as a complex prediction machine, much like an isolated brain receiving signals in a vat. Initially, bombarded with a stream of nonsensical signals, it begins to detect patterns and anticipate future inputs. This process resembles supercomputers modeling the weather. The brain refines its models whenever predictions fail, striving for fewer surprises in the visual feed it receives. Now, imagine attaching hands to this brain. Suddenly, it interacts with its surroundings, experimenting with objects through touch and manipulation. By actively engaging with the world, rather than just passively receiving data, the brain becomes a dynamic creator of information. With each new interaction, the brain enhances its understanding of the environment, constructing progressively more accurate models of reality. Organisms, humans included, rely on these mental models to navigate life. Models allow predictions, and predictions grant us the control needed to survive. Whether it's predicting how to open a door or anticipating someone's reaction, our intelligence thrives on generating precise models of our world, bit by bit, and using them to achieve our goals. Here's the intriguing part: you are that brain, operating within a vast simulation. The reality you perceive is constructed by your neocortex, a sophisticated prediction engine. It builds models that help you manipulate your surroundings to ensure survival and reproduction. This insight challenges us to delve deeper into how these models are built and refined. How do our brains construct these intricate models? How does the prediction mechanism of our neocortex work? And what do the 150,000 cortical columns within our brains reveal about its mysterious architecture? These questions lead us on an exploration of intelligence and perception, offering a profound understanding of how we experience and shape the world around us. The brain's tiny engines. Dive into the intriguing world of neuroscience with Hawkins as a guide, challenging long-held beliefs about the brain's structure and function. Traditionally, the brain was seen as a collection of distinct modules, such as a sensory cortex for processing inputs from our senses and a motor cortex responsible for controlling our movements. This view painted a picture of sensory data first being interpreted as simple shapes or colors before constructing complex mental images, which the brain then analyzes to determine appropriate actions. However, Hawkins invites us to abandon this outdated perspective and explore a more astonishing biological architecture. Neuroscience now reveals that each segment of the brain, called cortical columns, operates like tiny, self-contained brains. Each of these 150,000 or so columns encompasses its own connections to sensory inputs and motor functions. Imagine using the visual cortex as an example. These columns are not only linked to retinal inputs but also control the eye muscles moving across what we see. Essentially, each column is responsible for processing sensory information, modeling the surroundings, and responding accordingly, not unlike individual prediction engines. This new outlook provides clarity on why the neocortex displays such a strikingly consistent structure despite encompassing functions as diverse as movement, language, and abstract thought. Evidence has shown that when optic and auditory nerves are interchanged in young animals, they adapt remarkably well, managing to see and hear effectively because of this uniform cortical wiring. Similarly, the human brain exhibits resilience by rerouting neural pathways around damaged tissue, maintaining functionality despite injury. Underlying these phenomena is the realization that the neocortex's true nature isn't a collection of tailored functional units but a series of uniformly structured, versatile machinery. The depth and versatility of human cognition arise from a homogeneous structure equipped with a vast array of connections rather than differently specialized components, thus mirroring reality's complexity, encompassing everything from emotions to high-level science. This suggests that through evolution, a simplified yet profound learning apparatus was crafted. Each cortical column follows this standard circuit design, and if we decipher the workings of just one functional column, we unlock valuable insights into the mind's capabilities, a monumental endeavor for comprehending intelligence itself. Hawkins's theory sheds light on previously baffling neuroscientific questions, offering a window into how such an intricate organ supports the vast spectrum of human experiences. Understanding how these numerous mini-brains within us operate opens the door to potentially unraveling the grand narrative of human cognition. Fascinating, isn't it? Embark on the journey into these microcosms, with Hawkins and his team leading the way, unveiling the profound simplicity at the heart of our complex realities. Mapping cognition. Imagine the mind as a wondrous network of tiny, powerful processors, each known as a cortical column. These columns are where cognition truly comes to life, forming the foundation upon which all intelligence and perception are built. At their essence, these mini-brains operate through an intriguing process, predicting sensory input following a motor action. This means whenever you move, your brain anticipates the sights, sounds, and sensations that should follow, either confirming an expected outcome or revealing surprises. Cognition thrives on this anticipation, constantly refining its ability to link specific actions with their sensory consequences. Think of it as an inner dialogue happening within each cortical column, sketching a unique slice of reality. When you interact with objects around you, like seeing, touching, or hearing them, these columns work in concert, creating sequences of sensory and motor information that help you recognize and understand the world. Each cortical column uses its own reference frame, much like a geographical map employs longitude and latitude. These reference frames serve as a systematic way to process the world, akin to a coordinate grid superimposed over various sensory inputs, like the pressure felt at the tip of one finger. When holding a familiar object, say a coffee cup, the brain builds a spatial map. It uses this mental map to make predictions and adjust based on what your finger senses as it travels along the cup's surface. This capability can be traced back to grid cells, which helped early organisms navigate. Evolution harnessed this spatial mapping mechanism, allowing humans to create detailed internal models of objects. As your finger glides over that coffee cup, your mind anticipates the shape and texture it will next encounter. If you detect a crack in the porcelain, your brain immediately recalibrates, enhancing its model of the cup to include this newfound detail. Essentially, cortical columns transform sensory data, much like an ant crawling over a surface using a tangible map to navigate its environment. As long as these cognitive components remain intact, they continuously refine our perception, improving our ability to predict and adapt to the world. And so, the journey through our mental landscape unveils the exquisite complexity and robust functionality of the human brain, a marvel of anticipation and adaptation. Minds in motion. Imagine navigating through your home with your eyes closed, relying solely on the mental map stored in your brain. This journey reflects the extraordinary way our minds handle higher-level cognition, like language and mathematics. Our brains use internal models, developed initially for spatial navigation, to interpret and engage with abstract concepts. When you think, reason, or imagine, you're essentially traversing an abstract world shaped by interconnected mental maps, much like taking a mental hike through abstract ideas. Every experience, from art and music to complex emotions like FOMO or concepts like justice, is represented by overlapping mental models crafted through intricate neural connections. These models constantly evolve, adapted and refined by our brain's impressive architecture of interlinked reference frames. A vibrant array of mental representations forms the basis of these models, which our brain navigates as if moving through a three-dimensional space. The fascinating question of how we integrate roughly 150,000 cognitive slices into a cohesive understanding of reality is answered through the concept of voting neurons. Each cortical column, a fundamental unit of the brain's architecture, has specialized neurons that bridge communication across different regions of the brain. Hawkins refers to these as voting neurons, forming a functional democracy of thought. They aggregate inputs from various sources, enabling the brain to reach a consensus on sensory and perceptual experiences. It's why when you touch a coffee cup, your mind rapidly arrives at a unanimous conclusion of recognition. Your consciousness, the essence of your daily experiences, is simply the outcome of these voting neurons continually polling and integrating countless inputs. It's an astonishing and intricate dance of mental processes harmonizing to form a seamless flow of perception and understanding, reflecting both the complexity and the elegance of the human mind.
Jeff Hawkins, AThousandBrains, offers a compelling view that redefines traditional brain theories. Throughout this summary, we've journeyed through the intricate workings of the neocortex, guided by Hawkins' innovative hypothesis that our intelligence is built on the foundation of prediction models across thousands of cortical columns. These columns, each acting like miniature brains with their reference frames, collaboratively produce our unified conscious experience. Hawkins' insights challenge the conventional compartmentalization of brain functions, proposing instead a universal structure capable of diverse cognitive feats. As you close this chapter, take with you the understanding that intelligence, according to Hawkins, is a complex, dynamic process of model building and prediction refinement. It's a blueprint for innovation, offering profound implications for fields ranging from neuroscience to artificial intelligence, and a deeper appreciation for the elegance of human cognition.